Welcome back, everyone. It's amazing how AI is always hitting us with something new, right?
Yeah, it's relentless.
Like every day there's a new product or some groundbreaking discovery.
Absolutely.
It's exciting, but honestly a little overwhelming too.
It really is, almost like drinking from a fire hose.
That is the perfect way to put it. So that's our mission today on this deep dive, to break down some of the biggest AI news and figure out what's truly revolutionary and what's just hype.
Sounds good to me.
Perfect. And we've got a lot to cover: new gadgets, research on how AI actually works. You sent over a fascinating collection of articles.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when people hear AI, they often picture, robots or some futuristic world like in the movies.
Right, like sentient machines taking over.
Uh-huh, exactly.
Right.
And while that's fun to think about, it's not quite the reality we're living in just yet.
Not yet, anyway. So then how would you define AI in the simplest terms?
Basically, it's about creating systems that can perform tasks that normally require human intelligence.
Okay, so like what? Give me some examples.
Sure, think about problem solving, learning from experience, even things like understanding and responding to language.
So we're talking about systems that can learn, adapt, and make decisions like we do.
In a way, yes. And the crazy part is, you're probably interacting with these systems more than you realize.
That's a great point. And speaking of interacting with AI, you sent over this article about Snap's new AR glasses, the spectacles. Walking down the street and suddenly information about a restaurant pops up right in your vision. Sounds pretty wild.
It's definitely pushing the boundaries of augmented reality. The article talked about how these glasses can actually understand what you're looking at and provide relevant information, not just overlay pre-programmed data.
So it's not just about seeing restaurant reviews, it's about the glasses knowing what you're interested in and maybe even suggesting a place based on your preferences.
Exactly. Imagine walking through a new city and having the glasses recommend hidden gems you would never found on your own.
That does sound pretty amazing. But let's be real, how practical is this really? I mean, the article mentioned the battery life is only 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's a major drawback.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to wear glasses that need to be charged more often than your phone?
Seriously. And on top of that, they're going with the subscription model, $99 a month. I don't know, for that price, I'd want something that works flawlessly all day long.
I hear you. It highlights a constant tension with emerging technology balancing the wow factor with the realities of everyday use.
Right, because as cool as it sounds, I'm not sure I'm ready to ditch my phone for a pair of AI glasses just yet.
I think it's safe to say smartphones are here to stay, at least for now.
Yeah.
But speaking of AI making its way into our lives, that article you sent about Snap's new AI video generation tool,
Yeah.
that's what I call a game changer.
Oh, yeah. The one where you can basically type out an idea for a video and the AI just creates it for you. That one blew my mind.
Right. Seems almost too good to be true, and yet here we are.
And the fact that it got a standing ovation at that tech conference, people are definitely catching on to how big this could be.
For good reason. It has the potential to completely democratize video creation. You don't need fancy equipment or expensive software, just an idea and a keyboard.
I love how you put that democratization. It levels the playing field for anyone who wants to create video content, regardless of their technical skills or budget.
Exactly. Whether you're a small business owner creating ads or a teacher developing educational materials, this tool could be a game changer.
Absolutely. And speaking of AI shaking things up, you also sent over this piece on Snap's AI portrait generator.
Oh yeah. Have you tried that yet?
I haven't had a chance. What else can it do?
So it's not just like those regular filters, right? This actually generates completely unique images of you. Like imagine yourself as a knight in shining armor or something.
Okay, now that's cool, though not sure I'm ready to see myself in a suit of armor. But seriously, this AI portrait thing, it feels like we're stepping into a whole new world of visual content creation here.
We absolutely are. And it makes you wonder, what are the boundaries? Could this be used to create like historical recreations or something?
Or even entire fictional universes populated by these AI-generated characters. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
It's exciting and a little unnerving at the same time, don't you think?
A little bit of both, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got AI changing how we make videos, how we see ourselves, and now let's talk about this massive investment you mentioned earlier, Microsoft and BlackRock putting $30 billion, maybe even $100 billion into AI data centers. That's a lot of money, even for tech giants like that. What's the big deal with these data centers?
Well, it all comes down to the sheer amount of power these AI systems need. Remember those AI-generated videos and portraits we were talking about? Those require an insane amount of computing power to create.
Ah, so it's like the old saying, you need a pretty big oven to bake that kind of cake.
Exactly. These data centers are like the power plants of the AI world. They provide the electricity, so to speak, for all those complex algorithms and data crunching.
So those data centers are basically where the magic happens. But earlier you mentioned something about energy consumption. Are there any environmental concerns we should be thinking about?
Yeah, that's a really important point. Data centers use a ton of energy. And as the demand for AI grows, which we're going to need even more of these centers, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. It's like we're in a race to build a greener future, but at the same time, our technological appetite is only getting bigger.
It's a tough balance, for sure. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. You sent over this article about Japan's approach to AI research, and they're doing something really interesting. Nature-inspired AI. What is that exactly?
So instead of just trying to copy how the human brain works, they're looking at how nature has already solved complex problems. Like, think about how a colony of ants can find the most efficient path to a food source, or how bees optimize the structure of their hives.
That's a really cool concept. So it's like nature has already spent millions of years perfecting these systems, so why not learn from the best?
Exactly. And Japan has always been at the forefront of robotics and automation, so it makes sense that they're leading the charge in this area. Imagine AI that can design buildings with the efficiency of a termite mound or direct traffic flow based on how schools of fish move.
That is pretty mind-blowing. Okay, circling back to those AI models, you mentioned OpenAI is making their latest models more accessible, and that Perplexity is using one of them for a new feature. What's so special about these new models?
It's a huge step. See, for a while, AI was mainly used for creative things like generating text or music. But these new models, they're different. They can actually understand logic and reason things out, almost like a human brain.
So it's not just mimicking human creativity anymore, it's about replicating our ability to think critically and problem solve.
Exactly. The article you sent over about Perplexity is a perfect example. They've got this new feature where the AI can solve complex math problems, write code, even do those multi-step searches online that usually take us forever. It's like having a superpowered research assistant at your fingertips.
Wow, that's impressive. Speaking of which, you also included this article about research into AI memory, and this is where things get really interesting. Are you telling me AI could be remembering things more like we do, not just storing information like some giant hard drive?
It's wild, right? They found that these large language models, much like humans, seem to recall information based on context and cues, not just by accessing a perfectly organized database.
So you're saying instead of just knowing everything instantly, AI might be forming connections between different pieces of information, kind of like our brains do.
That's the idea. It's not about how much information AI can store anymore. It's about how it's processing and retrieving that information. That's a huge shift in how we understand AI memory.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it. We started with AI glasses, and now we're talking about AI that might form memories kind of like our brains do.
It really makes you appreciate how rapidly this technology is evolving.
Seriously. AI generating videos from text, creating custom images, solving problems in ways we never thought possible, and now this whole thing with memory, it feels like.
Like we're witnessing a fundamental shift in how we understand intelligence.
Exactly. It's not just about machines getting smarter, it's about redefining what smart even means.
It's a bit humbling, isn't it? Each new discovery forces us to question our assumptions about intelligence, consciousness, what it means to be human.
You hit the nail on the head. From those ethical questions about AI-generated content to the environmental impact of data centers, and now this mind-bending research on AI memory, it's clear that every advancement comes with its own set of challenges.
Absolutely, and that's why I think these conversations are so important. As AI keeps evolving at this crazy pace, it's more important than ever to stay informed, ask the tough questions.
I couldn't agree more. We can't just sit back and watch it happen. We need to be actively involved in shaping how AI develops and integrates into our world. What do you think is the most important thing for people to remember as we navigate this new frontier of AI?
I think it's about finding that balance, embracing the possibilities while also acknowledging the potential downsides. It's about being informed, having these conversations, and most importantly, being proactive in shaping the future we want to see.
Well said. And for our listeners, if all this has got your brains buzzing as much as ours, be sure to check out the show notes for links to all the articles we talked about. You never know, you might just find your next deep dive. Until next time, keep those questions coming, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep learning.
See you next time.